Hello. Thank you
Hi.
so much for spending time with me, answering some of my questions. Congratulations on the film. It was very enjoyable, very beautiful film. Um, First off, I'd like to ask you what about the writing and the story grabbed your attention, and how is it different from any other projects that you've worked on?
Okay, so it grabbed my attention because it reminded me of one of my favorite movies, Badlands.
Oh,
Yeah, and so that was the first thing. It wasn't a remake of Badlands, so it's very different, but the voiceover and the sort of loneliness of when they go on the run and that sort of reminded me of that. And there was it was kind of rare that you get so few characters and they all kind of are very well written individually with a backstory. So I was like, it could be a play. This
hmm,
movie could have been a play. So that sort of, I like that they all had a story. There wasn't just like characters, who's just a mother, who's just a father. And that, to be honest, I wanted to do something with that accent and that time period because I hadn't done that before. And I had always wanted to do that accent. So, and then also playing old fashioned characters from the a long time ago, like it's a thing that I don't think not everybody can do, in terms of like sometimes people can look a little modern. And so I knew that I could do old period pieces. Yeah, and that was another thing that drew me to it.
now speaking on that accent, did you draw any inspiration from anybody, or how did you develop that accent to make it feel authentic?
Well, I had a dialogue coach.
Okay.
Yeah, really good. And that's their whole job, is to teach you how to do the accent. And then listening to snippets of people on the radio with that accent.
Mhm.
And yeah, just that really.
Yeah. Now, Olivia's had a difficult situation. Were there any early drafts that expanded more on her relationship with Eugene's father, and to explain why he left?
No, there wasn't. But I spoke about that with Miles. And I we kind of came to the conclusion that he was like the love of her life. He
Hmm.
was, and so when she remarries, it's not really for love. It's more to sort of help her. And I guess it was just classic alcoholism, and that's why he left.
Yeah, yeah.
That you kind of get a sense that there was a bit of maybe domestic violence too.
Hmm.
And I liked playing it that you can still be in love with somebody and still love someone who has alcoholism and has despicable behavior. You can still love them, and her heart could still be broken when he leaves. And
Yeah.
so that, I like that idea.
Now, can you describe your experience working with Miles? Were you given a lot of freedom as far as how you wanted to play Olivia?
I suppose I was, actually, now that I think about it. He was great because I asked him for some references of pictures and books that I could read in the meantime. He gave me the Timothy Egan Worst Hard Time book.
Hmm.
And then there was collected works of Billy the Kid. I can't remember the name of the author of that, but that was like a load of poetry kind of in the same era of Billy the Kid. That was beautiful, and they were really helpful. And then I asked him for some music, and he had composed himself some music.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
That I couldn't believe it. I was kind of mortified because I was like, I'm only good at acting and taking care of animals, but like he can do everything. So he had composed this beautiful music because I wanted to kind of feel the tone of what he was thinking, and was it this sad tone, or was it, or was I kind of off by playing it sad? Was it a bit more like faster pace? So the music really helped
Yeah.
kind of put me where I was at.
Y- I mean, this is an interesting time in history. Did you have to go into a lot of research to kind of like understand where these characters were, in this time? Because it's unprecedented. I mean, I feel like it's mirroring itself a little bit now in the modern day, but it's not usually touched in modern movies and television.
I know that was another reason why I wanted to do it too, because I didn't really know a lot about this time, because I'm from Ireland and we just study history of Europe in
Yeah, yeah.
school and a little American history, but really it's European history. So I did have to read a lot about the Dust Bowl era, but I really enjoyed doing it. It wasn't like a boring process. But that book, The Worst Hard Time, was really told you all about that. Why they overplowed the land and sort of destroyed it.
Mhm.
And then what happened. And then the Great Depression was happening at the same time as all this was happening. So it was kind of like a double disaster for all these people. And when they first arrive to the area, they're given free land by the government. It was an incentive that was given out to people to like, here's like a load of acres for free
Yeah.
that you can have. So it drew a lot of people there. But like you see at the beginning of the movie, like it must have been really scary just arriving and being like, okay, there's nothing for miles, and like it's kind of windy and we're alone. And so I that all those things that I read about it kind of helped me with the character again. Like she came from somewhere at the beginning of the movie. She's already been taken away from home to a new place.
Yeah.
So there was a backstory
Yeah.
that's rare too, that there's a backstory at the beginning of the story. And I really like that.
Now the scenery, the scenery that you guys had, the location was beautiful. It really helps the audience feel like they're really there and helps them connect to these characters. Were there any interesting things that you experienced, condition wise while filming that you've never really experienced in any of the other projects that you worked on?
Well, it's funny because I filmed Better Call Saul in New Mexico
Oh
too.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it was
yeah.
my first time being there. But we stayed in Albuquerque, but we would drive like an hour kind of into the middle of nowhere in the mornings to shoot where we were shooting. And everyone says it, but like until you see it, the sunsets and the sunrise in New Mexico, it's kind of like seeing heaven. And I'm
Yeah.
not kidding. It really is. It's like seeing heaven. And so I felt that those were the most beautiful moments, because you can think that that didn't change. Like that sunset and sunrise was what she or those characters would have seen in that era. Okay, it
Hmm.
might have been dusty, so they wouldn't have seen them as beautiful as they are now, but like nature and sunrise is forever.
Yeah, yeah,
And at nighttime when we would be there and the sun would be going down, and like it just looks like the world goes on forever.
yeah.
And I felt that those moments were really magical, and there's kind of a vibe of souls,
Hmm. And
you
it's
know,
it
like
was
just
just it was just so beautiful watching it.
right.
Just the scenes of like the dust and the wind coming through. It's just like wow, that the way that it's captured is just like it really brings you into that world. Now going forward, would you like to look at more timepieces on future projects you'd want to work on? And if you could choose an era in history that you would want to be a part of, which would it be and why?
That's a real hard one. I don't know. Of course, I'd love to do period pieces because they're so interesting with the costumes. Like so many things
Yeah.
could help with the whole character and everything. And then reading back on those times is always a little bit more interesting than a contemporary character. But obviously, people are people. So emotions are the same now as they are, like, 60 years ago, whatever. Time wise, Jesus, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's hard.
No.
Maybe the big ball gowns. I'd love to wear one of those big ball gowns like
Oh
Mary
yeah.
Antoinette wore or something
Oh
like
man,
that.
that'd be amazing.
That would be fun just to wear them. But I don't know. But then at the same time, the 80s really appeals to me too, because that was kind of a crazy time.
Yeah. That's
Um, so yeah, it's hard to pin it down.
Now, did you guys have a lot of fun experiences? As a cast, it seemed like you guys were very close group because it's only a few of you that are on screen together at a time. Did you guys have a lot of fun working together in this short period that you're filming?
Yeah, we did have a lovely time together. It was sort of, I was very separate from Margot, and that was perfect because my character and her never meet.
Hmm.
So Finn had all that by himself, which was sort of perfect. So when he was with us, we were all just together, and it kind of played out like it did in the
Yeah, yeah,
movie. At the time we were filming it too, Margot was doing promotion in LA. So when she days off, she was flying back to LA to do work on promoting another thing. So it was really me and Travis. And we were staying in this beautiful hotel in Albuquerque that one of the rooms is supposed to be haunted. Yeah, supposedly one of the rooms is haunted in this beautiful hotel. And then Darby too, I spent time with her and her mother. And it's funny because at that age, like now she looks like a teenager, and it was
Yeah.
like overnight.
Yeah, especially like this project. You guys were filming this like what early 2017 or 2018.
Yes,
So you've been waiting to hold on to this film for a while. So when it gets its natural release, she had aged so much.
yes.
I mean, it must be amazing for you guys to finally have more people watch this film. It's an amazing film, and congratulations to you guys on that. Thank you so much for your time and sitting down and talking with me. It's really amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much. Those are lovely compliments, and I appreciate it.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
You have a nice day, man.
Bye.